Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. You know, back in the 90s, I would say about 25 years ago, I guess that might be kind of accurate. And I would say that would be a starting point 25 years ago, up until maybe about mm, 10, 12 years ago. I One of my closest friends had this vision about making black people aware of what their major problem has been in living in America. And the best thing that they could possibly do is contemplate making a move out of America back to Africa. And the name of the organization was the African American Conscious. And the founder of that program was T.S. Arnese. My man, T.S. Arnese. Now, I worked with him on that project, but I never believed in it. I never believed that you could find black people, not in this country, to the degree that a number would matter, that they would say, "We're gonna pack up our bags and go to Africa." No way, Jose, could I see that. You see, we had already had our indoctrination about Africa. It had nothing to do with a new Africa. The way we were educated about Africa was Tarzan. And I don't think any of us who saw Tarzan were thinking about going to Africa based upon what they were telling us. And so while the effort was made, it was more or less to educate people as best we possibly could. But that wouldn't happen. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, as crazy as that might seem, I think I came up with something even worse. In mind, basic human rights for all people. And what I talk about is everybody got the things they want: food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, transportation, infrastructure, and all the other things that you can imagine. And that the way that this can be achieved is consider that all of the resources of the earth are free from God. And each of us would benefit from some of these resources one way or another. So each of us that would benefit from it play a role in the process of producing, creating the goods and services that we would use. And we would use a gift that each of us got that gives us our greatest joy. That, to me, was a blessing that was given by the Creator that we can enjoy doing what we will be required to do as we are here. And in exercising such a compassionate program, we would have also as a consequence of that, as a result of that, is peace and prosperity and freedom and joy of our lives and our dreams coming true, that our needs, our wants, and our desires could be met at our leisure. And we could do all this without lying and cheating and stealing and killing and terror and hatred and racism and bigotry. All of that stuff, it seemed plain as daylight to me. And this wasn't packing up your bags, going anywhere. This was America, living right here in America, and the things that we've always imagined as being some fantastic, still fantastic. Now you're coming up with a way how you can ascertain and benefit and enjoy these things. The one problem that would absolutely be required, and that is that you wouldn't be able to do it using money. You'd have to get rid of money. You could find a substitute, maybe like, I believe what they call carte blanche, with an unlimited capability. So that means anything you want, take your card. It's like taking your money, and it will allow you to access all of those things. And the system will be worked to accommodate it in a nice and melodic fashion. Now, that to me sounds like the best thing that you could ever think of. Now, why do I say without money? You see, because the way that program, as I see it, was designed is that we, the people, come here, bring in what is required. You know, like when you look at an ant's bed, everybody in that ant's bed got something to do, and they working it out together. They working out together. Human beings come on the earth. They got all kinds of gifts and talents. They work it out together. Everybody doing something positive. To me, that's the way it is supposed to be. It's a natural thing. The institution of money says you don't have to work stuff out together with other people. You don't have to be compassionate toward one another. You don't have to, in other words, you don't really need them. You need the one who gave you the job, who got the money to pay you. Because with this money, you can do anything you want to do. Food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, housing, transportation, anything that those other guys could get where they all could get it. Now using money, you don't have to worry about whether they all can get it. You can get it. And you don't even have to worry about if they like it or not, because you got yours. See, that's how they instituted the hatred, the racism, the bigotry, the lying, the cheating, and the stealing. So I thought it would be no problem. But ladies and gentlemen, just as you would think that, as I thought and agree, that black people would not pick their bags up and run to Africa unless there was America was on fire and they were burning up, and the only ship was leaving was headed to Africa. Now they'll jump on that ship. But it's the same way when you start talking about the things that I mentioned. It's not talking about going to some strange land. It's talking about achieving some things you've always dreamed that you wanted to do, but you didn't have the money. And now there's an indication that you could do it without the money. And at the same time, you're so indoctrinated, so imprisoned, that just the thought of doing anything without money just does not make sense to any of the people that's listening. In other words, what I could say is this. You take $100 and give each person in this country $100, and not a single one of them would be thinking about leaving this country. Not only that, I didn't mean to say leaving this country. Give them $100 and they wouldn't be thinking about God. Nope, they would not be thinking about God. Talking about giving your life to God, doing the righteous thing. No way. $100. You know, a man, when he got a quarter, if he has a quarter and another person doesn't, they think they're somebody. They think they're superior to the person that has nothing. And those that got really think they're superior to those that don't have. And this is the way they look at it. And when you start talking about everybody having, everybody got what they want, no, that's just is too much evil for that to happen. Not in this world. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just thought I'd share that with you. And let me give you close with this. I've heard people talk about it. They talked about Nixon, and Nixon leaving the White House, and you know the story about President Nixon. The problem with Nixon, ladies and gentlemen, was this: Nixon that was a crime. There was a crime being committed, and so people could deal with that. But when it came down to Trump, the reason it's so much bigger is because it's not just a crime; it's evil. It's a conjunction of evil. Just evil. See, a crime, you can deal with a crime. You can discover it, you can make restitution to pay and ask for forgiveness over. But with evil, it doesn't go away. It just lingers. It lingers. It's filled with hatred, bigger. It doesn't go anywhere. It stays and just drives and drives. So that's what we got with Trump. Nixon was about evil. Nixon was about a crime. Trump is about evil. So I leave that with you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so very much for giving me your time. Until next, this is Eddie Marcus saying goodbye.